of the rights of the people. Cameroon has ratified a number of international legal instruments protecting the rights of the citizens to peaceful demonstrations or peaceful protests, including the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, the first protocol or optional protocol on the International Civil and the International Convention or Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, and the 1981 African Charter on Human and People's Rights, the 1998 Protocol on the African Court on Human and People's Rights, and of course the preamble of the 1972 Constitution of the Republic also makes provision for peaceful protests in the Republic, and the principal legislation governing assemblies is law number 90/55 of 1990. These legal instruments are applied in the Republic of Cameroon, but the application of these legal instruments are often attributed or is often attributed to the violation of the rights of citizens in the country. And recently we had a case here in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala, with the presence of the national president of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement, CR and political party, Professor Maurice Kamto, who wanted to meet with some militant sympathizers and, of course, people in the regional capital of the littoral region, Douala, economic capital of Cameroon, and he also wanted to launch his book, but his presence in the country's economic capital was characterized by a heavy deployment of police who put him under what can be considered as a house arrest, and of course the launching of his book was prohibited by the authorities. And when these actions occur, the argument of the authorities is of course the protection of public peace and order, but this is often interpreted as a violation of the rights of citizens. We're going to take a look at this in some few seconds. Meet our guest. To my right, Kedia Robert. He's a politician, member of the ruling Cameroon People's Democratic Movement, CPDM political party. Kedia Robert, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. Greetings to you. I would like to thank your institution, Equinoxe, for giving the opportunity for my party to be here to express my own view and ideology with respect to the stand of my political party. Greetings to my co-panelists and all our viewers, especially Honorable Galadjure. Thank you.
Right to my left now, Mutaga Silvanus is the special advisor, one of the special advisors of the national president of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement, CR and political party, Professor Maurice Kamto. Mutaga Silvanus, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Babula Jonathan, and a special good evening to the millions of televiewers of this prestigious and pertinent program, The Insight on Equinoxe Television. Permit me use this opportunity to extend a message of condolences to the parents of the kids that were murdered at Ekondo Titi, and to tell the militants of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement who are in prison since the 22nd of September 2020 that the CRM is not relenting. They saw Professor Maurice Kamto came here in the nation's economic capital, Douala, paid them a visit on the 30th of November past at the New Bay prison, where he went there in discretion and visited a good number of them and dialogued with them. I was present there with the other special advisor, Honorable Abed Zonga, and it was quite very calm there. There wasn't any chaos there, and we left there peacefully. You can imagine how the penitentiary milieu is. If Professor Maurice Kamto could go there and it did not cause any commotion and he come back, it would not have been different from what happened there in the book launch that unfortunately did not hold here at Sambaka's cabaret at Prison.
Right, we'll begin with one of the issues that you highlighted, notably the killing of some students in Ekondo Titi in the southwest region of the Republic of Cameroon. This was coming after a gendarme officer guns down a pupil in Boya, and a police officer killed or guns down pupil in Bamenda, and before this we had the situation that occurred at the International Mother Francisca International College in Kumba, where some students were killed, and this has been going on and on. Now, during the memorial service for the students, so in honor of the students who died in the shooting in the Kondo Titi, a man of God said that we know the right thing that should be done, and that right thing must be done now. And he said that if the use of force has failed, then we should use another strategy, which he called dialogue, which has, however, been going on already with the major national dialogue and other discussions that have been going on. Now, when the man of God says, we know the right thing to do, and that right thing must be done, what's your understanding of that?
Mr. Babula Jonathan, there is a way that seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof leads to eternal damnation. That is what the Holy Scripture says. And the man of God is not mincing words, he's not speaking water, he didn't speak with water in his mouth. We have to call a spade a spade. The regime in place knows very well that the issues at hand that have been raised by the indigenous people of the Northwest and Southwest region have to be handled politically. It's not an issue that you need to use a gun, because when we look at the different points of contact that existed, that of 1961 and even the modification of the Constitution in 1972, 1984, I'm sure all those went wrong. The changing of the name of Cameroon from the Federal Republic to the United Republic by Ajo, and from the United Republic to the Unitary State to the Republic of Cameroon, I mean, by President Biya, and the existence of the cohabitation of the Anglophones and the Francophones has never been with the force of the rifle and the rifle. So it has always been as a result of a dialogue. So he's telling the regime in place and the separatist leaders alike too that if they have tried the gun and the bazooka for bazooka is not working, it's time they should seek alternative avenues. And it's calling the regime in place, that Mr. Biya's regime, to consider applying the advice that has been given, the method, the strategies that has been advocated by international partners, the European Union, you have the United Nations, the United States of America, and Great Britain, because we know for certain that the European Parliament has been advocating for a peaceful resolution to the of the Anglophone crisis and the war in the Northwest and Southwest region, but that's not the case. And what the man of God just said, I think to summarize it, he's saying it's high time somebody told them that ceasefire is paramount, because if there isn't ceasefire, there cannot be a way out
of the situation.
Like
right.
That's the gospel truth.
KJ Robert, he says, the man of God says, we know the right thing that should be done, and we have to do that. To you, what's that thing?
The right thing to do is for us to dialogue. And me, I have my own perspective for looking at this dialogue. The government will do its possible best, but it is time that us indigenous people that their grandfathers and forefathers come from the Northwest region, I don't want to use the word Anglophone, it's time for us in those regions to sit and stop the problem there. Those that have picked up arms are our brother. We know everything, we should not mix up, because we need peace, we want the killings to stop, and we need to look our brother in the face and say things the way we need to say. We have villages that separatist fighters have been kicked out of those villages, and those villages are at peace. We've seen many of them at the social media. Then we also have villages that citizens are collaborating with them. That too we cannot debunk, and we see what is actually happened. Why would I conclude by saying so? I'm not politicizing this. I'm not allowing my party to influence me over this, because I am an origin from there and I want peace to be there. We saw what happened for instance, in Boya, where a child was killed. The indigents of Boya came out, walking their masses, went up to the governor office. But when